Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Awaken to Happiness Now Global Series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. If you're new to me, shefaliburns, new to my show, new to my channel on YouTube, please do subscribe so you can take advantage of all the current shows, all the previous shows, all the shows coming up. I think there's 560 something there. So there's a lot of wisdom here for you, healing, teachings, processes, etc., to take advantage of. And if you are here with us live, welcome, welcome. It's always so happy to have you with us. And it is my deepest wish, desire, and intention to bring you these amazing speakers who are sharing their wisdom, their teachings, their experiences, their processes, activations, healings, etc., so that we can all thrive, so that we can all awaken to happiness now. And so today, my dear friend Kelly Boyer is back with us, and we're going to be talking about the power of clarity, how feminine insight and soul strategy shift everything. So some of what we're going to talk about is the clarity codes and the clarity methods. So we're going to talk to Kelly about what they are, what inspired this creation, how is the clarity method different from traditional coaching or mindset work. What kind of results do some of Kelly's clients experience, and who is this for, right? So who is the clarity codes and the clarity method for? We're going to be talking about all of that and more. Kelly's going to be taking some live caller questions today, so please do raise your hand for those of you who are here live. And for those of you who may not know Kelly, like, she was on our show last season for the first time. Loved the show, loved the conversation. I love Kelly's energy. She is a speaker, a soul-aligned strategist, and the visionary creator of the Clarity Codes and the Clarity Method, a groundbreaking framework that blends intuitive insight, subconscious clarity, and strategic action to help women lead with calm, purpose, and power. And so, with a background in leadership, soul-based consulting, and energetic systems, Kelly guides high-impact women to break free from burnout, align with their highest timeline, and build sustainable success without the hustle. And her work empowers leaders, healers, and entrepreneurs to tap into their inner clarity, trust their instincts, and rise from within. I love it. So please, everyone, join me in welcoming Kelly back to the show. Kelly, welcome back.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me back. I'm excited. I really am excited to be here. Like you said last time, we had such a good time. So I'm ready to have another good time. And,
Absolutely.
yeah, and everybody in the audience that joined last time were amazing. So I'm very excited to be here. It's a good energy. It's a good energy show. If all of you are here if there's anybody watching for the first time.
Absolutely. And it is a good energy. We were just talking before we went live how we are gearing up to the summer solstice on the 21st. And I love the energy of the solstice. I love how it is so empowering, it's so expansive, so regenerative. And so for me, it feels like there is a not a birthing of new energies coming in, but it's like there's an expansion because of the time that we're in, and the energy cycle that we're in right now. It seems like there's an expansion of the energy so that we can create
Yeah.
more of what we like, right? But sometimes I know a lot of people have difficulty creating, and creating just means living your life, doing what you want, etc. But a lot of times people have difficulty with that because they don't have clarity about what it is that they truly desire, right? So which is really hard. It's like you go this way, you go that way. It's like they just don't know. So so Kelly, we're going to talk about clarity today, clarity codes and the clarity method, because I think that is going to really help a lot of people so that they can move forward on their path, so that they can move forward on their journey, and so they can start to create and live a more fulfilled life and purpose and mission, right?
Yes. Yeah. I have to tell you, in talking, I talk to a lot of women. I'm like day in, day out. I'm also the type that will get on social media and I'll look at somebody's post and I'll start having a conversation with them. And the word clarity always comes up. I wish that I had more clarity about this. If I had more clarity about what I want to do, I would do it. And it's very interesting in the way that I'm going to say clarity codes came about. I'm going to definitely blame it on like the energy of what's coming with the summer solstice, the expansion. But in all honesty, it came to me in a download. I mean, if we're gonna get, if we're gonna get down and dirty and personal, it was a day I was feeling really kind of burnt out. I wanted to do something for myself. So I was like, I'm going to take a bubble bath. That's what I was going to do. And in my mind, I was like, I'm gonna do everything I can to just relax. And I'm like, as I was relaxing, I got this download, because one of the things that I do on a daily basis in my journal is I'm constantly asking the universe questions. And I'm asking questions knowing that when it's the right time for me to know, that the download will come. And so that was one of the questions that I had been asking, why are we lacking so much clarity? What is it? And how and what's a method or something we can do to gain that clarity? And then of course, there I am in the bath, relaxed, and the download came in. And as soon as I got out, I mean, I was still like wet and writing everything down. But so honestly, clear, and I realized that clarity codes came from my own experience. I like to I'm the type that I will try everything to see how it resonates. I want to learn everything and I want to research everything. So my background, I have a very extensive background in psychology and research, and wanting to know why we do the things we do, why the physiology of our brain does the things that it wants to do. And so I really spent most of my life just wanting to understand energetically and psychologically and physiologically why everything happens. So, and what I was really asking the universe too was for clarity. Like, give me clarity as to why all this stuff happens. And it literally came in a download. And I realized that in my work over the years, what I was really creating was this clarity method for women. And I mean, it can be used for men too, but a lot of my work really does focus on women and wanting to bring women into their leadership, stepping into their empowerment, and just taking lead of their life, whatever that looks like. Um, so a lot. So when we talk about the clarity method, I saw 7 pillars, and it's so interesting. Clarity has 7 letters in it, and so the clarity method is really about feeling. It's about feeling into who we are, and I know we talk about that all the time, but really feeling into it. Oftentimes I've worked with women and they're like, I just don't have my intuition. And I always call BS on that. We all have intuition. We just call it something different. And intuition really starts with, how am I feeling? How is my body feeling? What is going on inside when I have to make a decision or something hits? And that is the beautiful thing about having a body here on earth, is that our body is really a sacred temple. It tells us everything, but we have been taught to not pay attention to it. And so it's really about intuition. We do have the ability to see into our own timeline, because I'll tell you, one of my gifts is the ability to see into timelines. But you know what? Everybody can do that. They just see into it differently. And it's all about intuition. When you sit there and you say, I have this decision I have to make, but I don't have a good feeling about it, you are feeling into the timeline that's saying, stop, don't do it. So it's about really reading into those timelines, really tuning into what's going on, like beneath the surface. And you know what? And for years, I didn't even realize that I actually was doing this type of work. And I've called it all sorts of different things, until I'm all the day that the guide said, here's what we're going to do, and here's what we're going to call it. So I do have action steps for each part of clarity, but I'll pause right there. Otherwise, I'll just keep going and going.
And I love what you said. Specifically, I always pick out little pieces that I think are so relevant for people to hear, because people have all these misunderstandings about intuition, right, and clarity, etc. So a lot of people, that's in my impression, anyways, in my opinion, people feel that they can only be intuitive if they raise their vibration. Like, it's all out there, it's all in the energy field, it's all out there, but it's in the body, which I love that you said that. And the body is much more important than we have given it credence in the past. And it's not just about functioning day to day, but it gives us the messages that we need if we're willing to trust. That's the big piece here. Trust the messages that we're getting instead of thinking, oh, it's just my mind, it's just my fears, it's just this, it's just that, and saying, but you got to ask the questions, right, of the body, and you have to be present. So present in the body to receive the information. People think that you have to go into 5D or go into these processes or go somewhere else out there to get your answers, which is not true. I don't think so that's true. So I'm so glad that you said that, because it's so, so important to realize you have to, you chose to be, you chose to be here to have a human experience, to have a human body. So we have to work with and through the body. So everything is going to happen for you with and through the body, right? Sorry.
Absolutely. No, I 100% agree. You know, I love, my confession, I love to watch Bashar. I love whatever Bashar is going to say. And you know what? He had said something to me that was like, in my mind, so profound. Like I heard it and I was like, that's, oh my gosh, that's so true. Oftentimes we think that the soul is inside of the body. One of the things he said is our body is actually inside the soul. That is
Yeah.
why we can pick up on information. Why, when we are, when we're in a group of people, we know that the energy feels good. We also know that when we walk into a room and if maybe a fight has happened, we're going, whoa, there's something funny going on here. So we all are very intuitive. The question is, how do you use it? How do you respond to it? And it really is about, it's about awareness and just really paying attention to you and how you do it and the things that you say. But I think most importantly, when we talk about it, like when we talk about intuition, everybody thinks, oh, I have to be clairvoyant, or oh, I have to be clairaudient. I have to be all these things. But I'm telling you, from moment to moment, your body is your antenna, because the information is already coming in through the soul and the body is giving you the information for the reaction to it. If we paid attention, our body is so intuitive, all we have to do is pay attention to it and not second guess it, which you're right, trust is so hard. But if we just let go and just said, oh gosh, I'm feeling funny today, well, you're getting an intuitive hit. And
Mhm.
it does, you don't have to know specifically all the details of the intuitive hit. All you have to do is trust the fact that you're getting something, and trust that whatever is going to come next is going to reveal itself and you will have that aha moment.
So I just want to share something that Annette wrote in the chat, and she said it's about discernment of from where the information is coming. So sometimes people, we will doubt that the information is ours or coming from our higher self or soul. Some, but I'll be honest, if the information that you're getting or intuitive hit that you're getting doesn't feel good, let it go. It's like, why do you even like? For me, it's like if I'm getting, and trust me, this happens to me a lot, and I have to really work at it. But if I'm getting, not nice messages, then it's like, okay, that is not mine. That is not my soul, because my soul is very kind, loving, generous, all that kind of stuff, as is yours. So if you're getting something that is not nice, then it is not yours. And at that point, you're like, no, stop. I'm not going there. Like do something with that, right? But for me, it's always about messages that are empowering, uplifting. It's not beating me up kind of thing, right? And when I do get those, because I do, then I have to do some healing and clearing work to, get rid of those energies. But on the whole, when I get intuitive messages for myself, they're always very nice, good, uplifting, etc.
They're heart centered, right? And it's usually about not only like how you can help yourself, but possibly how you can help other people, right? So it really is coming from the heart. The other thing though I do want to add is, a lot of times when we have those negative beliefs, so psychology says that we have over 65,000 thoughts that run through our head a day, and
Yeah.
about 3% of those are our actual thoughts. So we are, because our body is inside the soul, we do pick up information from other people. my friends laugh at me because sometimes I get, sometimes I get stuff that comes in and I'll look at them all of a sudden, I'll be like, is that you or is that me? But but I want to go back to I apologize, my dog's barking. I hope you can't hear him.
No,
But
we can't.
I want to go back to what we label as like bad thoughts or negative thoughts. It could have been honestly that the energy that's coming in is a really good thought. But you have to remember we have our ego. And our ego, I'm telling you, if you do anything or if you don't do anything, make friends with your ego. Like you have to have a relationship with your ego. As much as people say dissolve it, dissolve it, dissolve it, you can't. It's impossible. So if
Yeah.
it's impossible, let's be friends with it. But what we need to remember is that when information comes in, downloads are positive. But what can happen is the ego is still part of the survival system. That is why we have it. So if it is something that comes in through the ego and it's shocking for the ego, or the ego goes immediately into protection mode, do you know what the ego does? It transmits it to you as if it's not going to be something that's positive for you. So then what do we do? We're like, oh, like I always use public speaking as an example. Like, truthfully, all of us can do public speaking. But when we hear the word public speaking, it comes in through the ego, and the ego says, oh my gosh, you're going to be seen. And really, the way that it's reacting again is in that survival, be like, oh my God, you're going to be murdered if you stand on this stage. And I use this because for a long time, I was like, no way, I'm not talking in front of an audience. But then what I started to do is I really started feeling into it intuitively. I'm like, what is this really about? And that's when I started really working with it. Okay, so what is this about, right? Why is my body reacting the way that it is? Why is my ego screaming run? And I want to get down to the patterning of those beliefs of what it is. And like, let's really bring them up to the surface, right? So what was it? You know what mine is that when I was a little kid, I was so chatty. I wanted to talk to everybody. But you know what I kept being told? Shut up and go away. You like, if you aren't going to be here just to only be like, you're supposed to be seen, not heard, right? Like, you need to go away, go someplace else. I was always getting shooed away. So really the experience that I was having with the idea of that coming in, the ego was saying, if you talk, people are going to shoo you away. And then of course, it brings up all the other garbage of like abandonment and then feeling guilty and ashamed, but that's how all of those patternings start to happen. So I'm glad, like, it's kind of going in the order of my clarity method, which the first part of the C in clarity method is channel the now. What is happening in the now? And what I mean by channeling, it's feeling into your intuition, bringing that energy in and saying, where am I in this moment? Okay, so now we're kind of talking about the L. The L is locating the pattern, right? If my body feels this way and this is the information that's coming in, where is that pattern? Where have I created it? Because the truth of the matter is that in patterning, if we interrupt the pattern, guess what? The pattern can now start to dissolve. So now, like that, and some of that is again working with your ego, having a conversation with your ego. Like, why am I scared about this? And it's like, well, I'm trying to protect you. Well, what are you protecting me from? Like, I'm a grown woman that has made it this long for 48 years and nothing bad, nothing bad has happened to me, and we're not in caveman area. Like, we're not cavemen and women anymore. So there's just, you know, it's just a lot of deconditioning that we do. And the truth is we have to constantly do it. We're never going to get to the point where we're just so like, oh, nothing phases me. Like, we're going to be constantly deconditioning, but that's what we chose to do when we came to Earth, was to really do that so that we can truly be what we're supposed to be, which is one of the most expansive and evolved beings that is happening right now. And I mean, I can go off on a tangent as to why, but and then that will be like a whole nother show. But But like I said, those are like the first 2 steps. Would you like me to keep going or should I pause?
Well, I think it's so important that we have the conversation with our ego, that we ask the questions. Why am I feeling like this? What is this fear that's coming up? And getting ourselves comfortable, even just with having that conversation, with asking those questions, because I'm not sure if people are willing to even go there, because sometimes then they have to face, well, this happened. Yes, okay, this happened, and this happened, and this happened. And sometimes that can be a little tricky if they don't want to get caught up in the stories or the emotions, right?
And I'm glad that you talked about the stories. Well, part of the emotions we have to experience the emotion. The quicker that you face it, the faster that you process through it. But it doesn't
Hmm.
mean that you have to relive it. So for a while I did a lot of therapy, and in the therapy I did what was known as conversational hypnosis. And I still use it today. I can't stop myself from doing it. But in conversational hypnosis, it is not like traditional hypnosis where you lay down on the couch and you go into the trance. It's just like you and I having a conversation. But it's knowing the right the right thing to ask to get them to dip into the subconscious. Guess what? When we're having just a conversation that is now brought to the awareness, and we get you to dip into the subconscious actually knows whatever that traumatic experience is. But you know what the beautiful thing is that it's rewiring it in the background of I'm like, say, of your head or wherever it's floating around out there, right? It's actually rewiring it for you so that by the time that we are finished, it's almost like you don't really even know exactly what you rewired, but you end up leaving and you realize, well, I'm not repeating that pattern anymore. And I know, and I think that traditional healing has really been all about, well, let's go back into the experience. You can see it either from your eyes or as a third party person. And I've done all of that healing too, but the thing that I've found, and I have 2 things to say about this. The one thing that I found is that it's actually taking me a little bit longer in my healing because I now remember, and now I'm going back and literally like reliving that experience, which I've already freaking lived through once. Why do I want to live through it again, right? And I think I think during that time, that was probably in my mind, that was probably a really like the most efficient way to heal. But we need to remember that we are multidimensional beings. Our vibration, just because we're here on the planet right now, is constantly raising. We are moving and healing at faster rates. That and I'm sharing this because I have had this in a download because that was another question I always had. I'm like, why are we reliving the same trauma, right? But because our vibration is vibrating so fast that all we need to do is bring it up into some, I'm going to say, some sort of awareness. And what
Hmm.
we're learning is that as we work with our subconscious and just bringing it aware and being like, oh yeah, like I did have a bad experience in A, B, and C. That's enough for it. If it's like I'm going to say at the forefront of the mind, that we can go in and we can actually start rewiring it with your frequency and your energy. And you don't have to go back and relive that. Because let me tell you, like some of the stuff that I had to go back to heal, like even today when I think about it, it's not like it triggers me and I can't move forward, but I'm like, I don't want to like remember that again if I don't have to.
I agree totally. And that's the thing. It's like, um, each time, you know, each time we retell a story, it's kind of like we're reactivating our cellular memory, and our cells are being reactivated to have that experience again, until you can get to that point where you've healed and cleared, etc. Now, for some of my experiences, I'm no longer triggered. They don't even come into my memory unless I want to explain something, then maybe I'll bring it up. But it like there's no energy there behind it, right? So it was just an experience. I learned from it. I grew from it. I'm good. But at the same time, it's about, sometimes when we are looking at those patterns, we need to be willing to see that this is where the pattern was, or this is what the pattern was. It doesn't mean we have to go back into the story and relive it. It's just being aware of the pattern. I think that's the key part, is the awareness of the pattern, so that it can then be changed, right? And have that pattern interrupt.
Absolutely. It truly is all about awareness. And that's what we talk about all the time in the spiritual community. Awareness, be aware of this, be aware of that. And awareness, I'm going to tell you, is one of our superpowers, to be able to recognize that the reason this keeps repeating, yeah, maybe it's something that happened in your teens, but as if we can just recognize that it's happening, we can actually go in and reprogram it, recalibrate it to a higher vibration that says, okay, like, honestly, this pattern is dissolved. I can, like, honestly, I can forget about it. Like, that's in the past. And I think the other thing that's an important point that we need to make is, as we continue to grow and evolve, the only reason that our past appears to be what it was back then is because we allow that energy to connect with it, to make it stay in the past. Like, truthfully, we're changing moment to moment to moment. Every time that we're changing, we are actually rewriting our past, because the only way that we can change in that moment is if we did rewrite something in the past. So, as much as, like, our subconscious can be such a pain in the butt and can create these patterns we don't want, we need to give it kudos, because it is constantly rewiring for the person that we are in this moment, this moment, this moment, because it has to rewire, it has to rewrite that in order for us to continue to grow. Now, I'm not saying that people don't stay stuck in it, because there are people that choose to that I'm going to say that choose to stay stuck. I mean, that's just what it is. Some people aren't going to like that I say that. They're going to say, well, I don't choose this. Well, there's something that you're benefiting from. So when you benefit from it and you tell your subconscious, this is my benefit, and it could be wanting to stay in comfort, it could be, fear of change, whatever it is, then a lot of times that's when our past isn't changing, because we are choosing not to change from moment to moment.
I just want to make a small point. So, for example, when I was not, I was choosing to stay in a story, in an energy, for a long time, because I was not willing to go back and look at it. So I knew that was my choice. I'm like, I'm not ready to look at it. I can't look at it. It was too traumatic, to this, to that. It's like, I can't. And then finally, after 25 years, I was like, okay, fine, I'm ready. I can do this, and I don't know how it happened, but eventually it did. But that was my choice. I was not willing to release it. And I didn't want it to become part of my identity, for sure, but it was so painful that I didn't want to look at it, if that makes sense, right? So I'm one that I take full responsibility, for my healing or lack of healing, my stubbornness in
Mhm.
staying in a story or an experience. That was me, because it was just too horrific, and it's like, I just can't, until I got to the point where I could, right? And then, even then, it was gradual process, gradual and processes and healing, and finally I was able to let it go. I think I'm stuttering now, so I was gonna say, I think I've let it go. So there's still maybe a little pieces left, but I've done the major work, right? So
Mhm.
we have to, at some point, take responsibility. And that's
Right.
not a judgment, and that's not being harsh and critical. But if you want your life to move forward in any way, you have to take responsibility for your life, and not, I mean, I sometimes go into victim mode as well. I blame the world, I blame God, but it doesn't last, because I know that's where I'm going, and that's just a wounded part of me, an injured part of me. I'm hurt, etc.
Mhm.
Right? But I recognize it, and I get myself out quickly. Um, but that's that childish 5-year-old part of me that sometimes wants to go there. So it's like, okay, go there, fine, stay with it for a little bit, and then get out, kind of
Right.
thing. So that responsibility, is so important, and that is. when you can take responsibility for your life, it's so empowering because
Mhm.
everything that happens to us, through us, happens for us. And we chose, and again, this is what I believe, we chose to be here. We chose our parents. We chose some of the circumstances, absolutely. Some, I'm not going to say all, but some circumstances we chose, our soul chose. So, not our personality self, but our soul chose for it to evolve and grow. And some of us have chosen really difficult experiences.
Mhm.
I'm putting my hand up for that,
Come on.
definitely. Right. And because we wanted more growth, we wanted more, a faster evolution or whatever it happens to be, so that's what the soul chose. And the body, the personality said, okay, let's do it with the
Mhm.
help of our soul family, etc. Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, it really is about accountability. And and sometimes I work with people and they are stuck and I promise you I'm not making any judgment because like that's okay. Maybe that's where you need to be right now. But usually my question is, well, what is the benefit of being that way? And usually that's a shock. And then I say, no, like really think about it. Like this is like we're just having a real conversation. And it's interesting because when they really like when people start to see the benefit, they start to take accountability and then they go, "Well, wait a minute. I don't want to keep my hand on that hot burning stove. I want to I have the power to choose something differently." And I'm like, "Yes, we have the power to choose in every second of our life." And if you are living and this is making you feel awful, let's not keep choosing awful. Let's choose freedom, liberation, empowerment, being able to really stand in the truth of who you are. And it's interesting because you can start to see the shift. So I always recommend to anybody if there is a pattern that just keeps repeating, honestly ask yourself, what am I benefiting from this? And you may not like the answer you get, but embrace the answer because it's in that where it's going to start to set you free.
Mm.
And then you can choose a timeline that has that new way of being on it. And so this is so interesting the way the conversation is going. So, in all honesty, that's the A in my clarity is access the timeline. Where is the timeline of how I really do want to feel and be and act and experience? And I think a lot of times we think shifting from the timeline we're on to another timeline that it has to be this big drastic thing, or we have to feel like 100% different. It's not. Everybody, we switch from timeline to timeline like this. And we don't even know it because that's our human in us. If we were I'm gonna tell you, if we noticed every single timeline that we were switching into, we would be like, oh my gosh, oh, this is amazing. And we would never get anything done in our 3D human form. But we can actually make that conscious effort to say, okay, this is where I'm at. This is not where I want to be at. So intuitively, I felt into it. This is not, I know, like, this is the frequency that I'm on right now. This is what I'm connecting to. This is the pattern. I now know what the pattern is. So I'm going to tell you the moment that you know that pattern, it already starts to create that disruption in your subconscious. So trust that you're starting to create that disruption. The next thing is going in and going, okay, so this is the timeline. This is the life that I want to have. So now you recognize the timeline. So now that you recognize it, well, what's different between the timeline that your frequency was currently connecting to and the one that you want to connect to? Well, you know what? I want to feel like I'm more in control of my career. Like I wanted to feel like I'm more in charge of my household. Whatever it is, well, what does that look like? How does that feel? Like I'm telling you, every frequency is all about feeling. That's the good thing about us. I'm going to tell you that's what makes us different. If you want to talk about all of the other beings out there, is we actually get to truly and deeply experience that feeling. So, well, what does that feel like on that timeline? God, it feels great. I'm happy. I'm joyful. I can see myself dancing in the kitchen. The moment that you start describing that, we start recalibrating the frequency to that timeline. And I know that you guys have probably heard a lot of other healers and like a lot of other people that channel. They say, even if you create the vision, drop the vision, hold on to the frequency, hold on to the feeling. It's true, because now when you go onto that timeline, you know what the beautiful thing is that you get to start creating and manifesting your reality in that frequency. So now that's what we want to do. We want to recalibrate that. And I'm telling you, everything that I'm talking about, everybody can do them. You guys can all do this yourself. I am the type that believes that whatever I teach or whatever I show, you have the full empowerment to do that. And all it takes is this beautiful thing that we have, which is called consciousness, and being aware of it. Then we can
I
start
love that.
recalibrating.
And I have to say, Kelly, thank you so much for not saying to go from the 3D timeline to the 5D timeline. It's not about that. It's
Mm-mm,
about your desires, right? So if and your experiences, that's what timelines are all about. For
mm-mm,
me, it's more like your life path or your life trajectory, even, if that makes even more sense, right?
mm-mm.
So it's like so my timeline changed last June when my husband left, right? So it's a whole new timeline. It means it's a whole new experience. It's a whole new way of being and frequency and experiences, so it's changed, right? But it doesn't mean 5D, 6D, blah blah blah. That like those are not things that are going to they're great to think about, talk about, but in practicality in your day-to-day life, you got to focus on what you want to experience, and not even what you don't want to experience, but truly it's about moving forward into what you do want to experience, that energy, that frequency, and that feeling, right? So I love this explanation about timelines, Kelly. It's brilliant, so thank you.
Yeah, because oftentimes I have people and they're like, "Can you tell me what my highest timeline is?" And I'm like, "Well, I see a lot. I like," and I do correct this. Like, we think there's past timelines. We think that there's future timelines. There is not. It is all parallel because everything is happening in the now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I can see infinite amount of timelines. But my question to you is where is your frequency now? Where do you want your frequency? And it doesn't mean, like, you have to realize that we don't often go from A to Z right away where we're vibrating so high. So it can be a step up process. So what is the next thing that you want? What is the next thing after that that you want to get to? So so I'm telling you that, like, I'm like, the guides know how this conversation needs to go. So that's the I in my clarity, is integrating the truth. What does that mean? It means actually taking action steps towards the next thing or the next phase you want to be at. It's all, I'm gonna say, it's all fine and dandy to sit and be like, "Oh, this frequency is so good. I love it." And if that's all you ever sit in, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna say 10 out of 10 people that walk away, that I've worked with, that walk away, that are just like, "I'm just gonna float in this frequency and that's all I'm going to do," come back to me and they say, I don't feel like I ever got to that timeline. Well, you can't. We have to integrate the truth. Our truth is I want to feel free and and explore the world. That's great and all to have that feeling, but you've got to start doing action towards it. And I'm not talking about hustle. So I work with a lot of women in business, and there is this, I'm going to say, this outdated culture about hustle. Hustle is doing a bunch of things, thinking that you're being really productive, but there really is no focus. There is no intent. We're just getting it done because I'm looking like I'm hustling. So it's not about hustle. It's about action. Aligned action is what we want to do. And even if you do one thing a day that gets you a little bit closer to that timeline, I'm going to tell you, the action itself then integrates the truth of who and where you want to be. So we have to take action in what we're doing. And I really do believe that in healing. I guess I have a lot of opinions of my own about stuff, but There is healing where we go like, and I'm not knocking any of this, because I do believe that all, like, any healing that happens there, we do benefit from it. But there is healing that when we go sit to a healer, when we go to a healer and we just let them heal us and then we walk away and that's it. Without integration, we cannot fully take in the healing that the healer is doing. So I absolutely believe that, like, about empowering people and doing their own healing. Um, when I was doing like a lot of healing, I'd have people come up to me and they're like, "Heal me," and I'm like, "No." Because I don't have that power to heal you unless you choose to act on it. I can hold that container. I can help raise the vibration of your frequencies, because that's really what we're doing. But when you leave here, I have no control over that container anymore. And truth be told, I don't really have control over that container. All I'm doing is just holding the frequencies. So we have to integrate whatever our truth is of what it is that we want to be.
Absolutely. I love that. And the thing is, if you're not taking action after the healing, yeah, the healing feels great in the moment. It stays in your energy field for a little while. But again, you need to have that integration, like Kelly's talking about, and that happens through action. Action meaning it could be something physical, changing your mindset, changing your emotions, how you feel, but really it is about something practical. So I'm going to be really blunt, and some of you are not going to like this, but if you are resistant to doing something and you say, this is what I want, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to create," and you're not doing it, you're not doing it, you're not doing it, I'll be honest, and sometimes I say this to myself too, you don't want it badly enough. Because I'm sorry, all our past experiences, all our belief systems, all of that stuff, action takes precedence over all of that. All of that other stuff becomes an excuse. Then it just becomes a reason for not to do something. But if you will take action on whatever it is that you want to do and create, and eventually, and keep taking action, eventually it will come to pass. But if you don't do anything because you're waiting for God to tell you something, or the angels to guide you, or for you to get a feeling of some sort, nothing's going to change, nothing's going to happen. And then you're going to be like, why is my life not changing? So, you know,
Well, what you're describing is, and we do it all the time, I really want to lose weight. I really need to do this. Wanting and needing are awesome because we identify what it is. But if it is not a must, we will never change, because the must has the energy that makes us take that action towards what it is we need to do. And even if you are struggling in some way, shape, or form to take action, I always recommend just get a journal and write in the journal as if you have already taken that action. Describe it in there. And you know what happens? So, psychologically, when we write things down, our brain interprets it. That's why I always recommend be careful what you write down. So, if you're writing negative stuff down, the brain interprets it as that's like literally written in stone, like that's what it's going to be. So if we write down something, if we, like I said, if we have some fear about it, write it down like you've already taken action, like it's already happened. The brain then processes it like it already has. And what you will find is if you just kind of follow that pattern, that positive pattern, or even if you just go back and you read it because you've already written it, guess what the brain starts to do? So there's this term in psychology called reactive articulate system, your
mhm.
RAS. When you write it down, when you act like it's already happened, guess what your subconscious does? It starts bringing you situations and experiences and events as if things have already started to happen. That's also like we call, like in the spiritual world, we call that manifesting. In the psychological world, we call that RAS. Like you literally can create your own reality, but you have to like you have to believe almost like it's already happened by taking action steps that it has really tells that RAS system in the brain And then we'll say in the spiritual world, the universe, because I do believe it's all connected. We just use different words
Mhm.
for it. Is that we're telling it that like, oh, I'm already in that energy. I'm already living that. So guess what? We're going to get experiences that are going to line up to it. If you program your RAS to say, well, I can't, like, I'll go back to public speak. I can't public speak. That's not something that I do. It will create situations to prove that that's what you cannot do. It's like the theory. So I'm going to use this example because it's a personal one. Several years ago, I was like, I want to buy a new car. So of course I do all my research because that's what I do. And I decide on the car that I want. Do you think that before I made the decision and the action to like start researching it, that I even noticed this car on the road? No.
Nope.
But guess what? As soon as I programmed my RAS system, my subconscious, or I put it out in the universe, everywhere I was driving, there was the car. There it is. I pulled up and I had them parked one on each side of me. I started noticing it everywhere. Then all of a sudden, I was getting things in my email from dealerships that I hadn't heard from for years about buying my next new car. That's just, and like we take that for granted. We don't think anything about it. We're just like, oh, that's so cool. That's the car that I want. But you're creating that and you're pulling it in. And the reason being is you took that first action of saying, I want to do this. My next action was I'm going to start researching it. And that was enough to start pulling it in. And so guess what? I got my car that I wanted to drive, like that I wanted. Like I think I bought it like 5 or 6 years ago, but like I was like, here I am driving this car. So we truly are in control of the things and the stuff that we want. The only way that we're not in control is when we give it away to somebody else. When we give it away to the belief of I can't do this, or they're better than me at this, or
Yeah.
and and then and then we wonder why we can't do it.
I love that. I love it. That is so powerful. And I love how writing about an experience as if it's already happened. So Tina wrote in the chat about releasing something, right? And so the I don't write things like that I'm releasing. Um, I would rather just embody what I want to experience,
Yes,
right?
I was gonna say
Yeah,
I see it in the chat. If you write, I don't want this anymore, guess what? All of the experience that come up will show you why you don't want it. It doesn't clear that pattern. If I go into my journal and I say, and like I know that I don't want A, but what I really want is B. You know what I'm gonna write about? I'm gonna write about B. That's what I'm gonna write.
exactly.
I can
Yeah.
honestly tell you, like I actually have it right here on my desk. I know you can't see it because like it's in purple. I made it bright. The other day I was sitting here going, what is it that I really want? And like, I had downloaded the clarity codes, the clarity method. And so I wrote, as like I already have it and I'm experiencing it. I wrote out everything that I want to now. I know that I want to have happen, acting as if it's already happened. So you know what I do is I read this several times a day, bringing in those frequencies. And already, I'm going to tell you, I wrote this 3 days ago and I'm already having stuff happening for me that connects with that.
Mhm. Absolutely. So again, what Kelly was saying earlier, that when you write stuff down, it's like it's written in stone. It's actually kind of like a contract, right? So it's so important to be really careful what it is that you write, right? So instead of writing down what I don't want, write down what you do want to experience and the feeling of it, right? It's not just I want a car, it's how does it make you feel, and feel that in your body the best you can. And then, I mean, I have something like that as well. It's like my perfect day, or I'm writing a letter to myself and in the future, and this is what I'm experiencing, etc. And the more that you read it, especially out loud, it's going to start making changes in your frequency. Absolutely. So it's something to play with, but again, always only positive stuff, because again, you are reprogramming your mind, your patterns, belief systems, etc. when you are writing. Okay.
And
Um,
and I just want to say this. I'm not saying that like if you know like I don't want this, it's okay to voice that because sometimes we have to first know what we don't want, but don't
yep.
dwell in the don't. Shift that into the do, and that's where the energy needs to be. Because we live in a world of duality. There's yes, there's no, there's good, there's bad, and that's okay. We have to acknowledge that so we can have the experience that we want. Just don't stay in the don't. And I see one of the question is how do you word it? I mean, I'll tell you if you want me to read some of mine. I literally wrote it as if it was happening. There's no perfect way. I'm not saying you have to use certain words, but mine starts off about the sun rising over tree-lined hills on land that I bought, and it describes exactly what my house looks like because I can actually see it. I'm like, I know this is going to come into fruition. I am not married yet, but I even wrote in here about my partner waking up and like asking me very positively, are you ready to shine today? Write it how you want it to be, like how you want to feel.
Yeah, not wanting it, but actually experiencing it.
Yes,
So
thank
and
you.
so it's not that I want it or I want to have it. You're actually experiencing it. This is what I'm experiencing. So when I wake up in the morning, I'm walking with Neo down the street, and then I have breakfast with my husband in the sunny glowing kitchen. I mean, it's just something like that, right? And then I'm having these wonderful meetings with my clients and community, and it's so expansive, blah blah blah, right? As if it's happening, right?
Mhm.
It will change how you then start to see yourself and your life. Okay.
Yeah,
um
literally like you're in it. Like it's mine right now. I am eating breakfast with I don't even care. If I'm eating breakfast with my Adonis husband, like it doesn't matter because you know what I'm really doing when I'm writing this and I'm doing that? I'm evoking the emotions again of
yep.
what I want. Instead of going, well, I'm not married, I don't have a husband, and it's just and like really we're just rewiring the frequency so it doesn't have to be perfect, but if you do write in that I don't want that, just remember that's what you just programmed. I don't want it, so guess what, you're going to have those experiences that remind you all the reasons why you don't want it, and we don't want that.
Yep.
We want all
Yep.
the experiences of why we do want it. Let's bring
Yeah.
that to us. And so
Absolutely.
that's
So
part
powerful.
yeah, so that's part of the I and integrating the truth. So like the T is I put trust the instinct because we have intuition, we also have instinct, and they do work hand in hand, but we really need to trust in our own sovereignty and our own trust. Like we really need to embrace the fact that we know what we already need to know, and I don't need to go to somebody else and say, can I have permission to do this? And that's part of really trusting your instinct or when your intuition comes in. If my intuition, and again, your intuition, yes, it's like a radar. You know, if you walk into a room and somebody has been fighting, that maybe that's not a good thing for you. That is not a negative. It's actually telling you positively to graciously step back out. So it's very important to trust in your intuition and your instinct without having to get somebody else's permission. The moment there's a difference between informing someone and asking for permission. When I ask for permission, I am giving away my power and my sovereignty for you to tell me what I do. If I look at my friend and I said, this doesn't feel good, I'm out. I'm informing and I'm following what it is that I want, that of what I want to do. And so that's a very important piece that we truly need to start embracing. And I'm going to tell you, even if you and we go into this room and you're like, I'm out, peace out, I'm leaving, and I'm like, oh no, I'm staying. I'm going to tell you what your decision to leave is not wrong. My decision to stay is not wrong because we are choosing the experience that we want. Trust that whatever it is that you choose, that whatever experience happens from it is exactly what you're needing. And maybe it's a lesson, maybe it's walking out and going, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I didn't stay in there because Man, I think I would have had a really horrible night. But now I found some other friends and I'm having a great time, drinking margaritas on the beach. But but trust, it's all about trusting. It really is about trusting in yourself. So oftentimes, like I do have friends, they'll call me and they'll be like, wow, like I have this question. What do you think I should do? And then they always get mad at me. And I'm like, well, what do you think you should do? And I'm not trying to be mean or facetious. I want to know, what is it that you think that you should do? Because whatever it is that you think, and I'm going to say trust the first thing that comes in, because our ego will try to talk us out of it and then give us the other way to go. But if you're saying, well, I really think that I should do this, okay, then I really think that you should do it too. Because I'm not having that experience. But I do understand that sometimes we do need guidance from somebody. I'm just going to caution, just make sure that the guidance that you're given, it, like, again, it goes back to that step one, channeling the now. How does it make me feel right now? And trusting the body and what the body is telling you in the experience that you're having. And then I'll just gonna throw the why out there, which is yielding to divine timing. Know that you are always in the exact moment you are supposed to be in. The timing is always right. You are exactly where you need to be in that moment and nothing more. I mean, that's just the truth. Like right now, us having this conversation with all of these amazing people, I am in the right moment. I am trusting the timing of the right moment. When I'm done and I go do whatever it is that I'm going to do, I'm in the right timing, in the right moment. We can't, in all honesty, we can't just all of a sudden be someplace else. We are still in a human body. Trust that whatever moment you are in is exactly where you need to be for your growth and your expansion and everything else.
Yep, absolutely. I love that. That is so true. I mean, we hear so many different messages, but it's exactly, you are exactly where you're meant to be right now. And that can change in the next 30 seconds based on your frequency and your choices and what actions you take. Right? But right now, for who you are, this is the right time and space for you. Um,
I actually
I
want
love
to
that.
comment. I'm watching the chat. I hope that's okay.
Mhm.
I
Yep.
actually do want to comment on one of the comments where it says, sometimes things don't happen because it's not meant to happen. Oh, wait, it moved up. Doesn't matter how much action. So I'm going to challenge you with this. We believe that it's not meant to happen because of the action that we're taking is exactly in this word belief. The other thing is that we as human beings, we create the most awesome stories in our head, but like that's going to go back to the frequency. We have to let that go, because I don't know about you, when I have trusted in the universe and I say, hey, this is what I'm wanting, even in the thing that I've written down of all the stuff that I want, it goes back again. The reason that I read it is for the frequency and to feel it, and then I take an action towards it. If I don't let go this thing that I have created, we do not allow for room for the universe to bring us what we need. And if we remain open, the universe, I mean, 9 times out of 10, the universe brings us something way better than we could have ever imagined. That's where, like, the saying hindsight's 2020. When we look back in it, maybe we think that we need to do like X, Y, and Z thing, right? And then we're like, oh, it never happened. This really sucks, blah, blah, blah. And then let's say a year goes by, and then we look back on it and we look at where we are in a year compared to what it was that we wanted. And I'm telling you, it's not often that we say, "Oh, I really wish that I was back into this idea that I had." You have to remember, we have to give space for the frequencies to align. So I'm not, and maybe even the action that you're taking, it might just need to be adjusted a little bit. That's the other thing, is we get so tunnel vision on, this is what I'm going to do, this is how I'm going to do it. I experience this a lot in business when I work with women in business and they come to me. And I think it's beautiful. They have this idea, they know exactly what they want, but the reason that they come to me is because it's not working. Okay. And I never say your idea is bad, you shouldn't do that, because to me, an idea is a download that you got. And if you feel it so passionately, it's something that you should be creating. But maybe it's about tweaking the action that you're taking. And sometimes all it takes is just a little tweak to get into alignment, into the right frequency. And I can't tell you how many times that I listen to it and I'm like, oh, well, maybe we'll try this. They go and try it and they come back and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm getting so many clients. It's amazing. And all it was just a simple tweak. So none of this is an exact science. We're talking about frequency. We really are talking about something that is so beyond what the logical mind can truly grasp. But the thing that we don't want to be stuck in is I'm going to say, number one, being set on, it has to be this vision. Like, it has to look this way. Well, no, it doesn't. It doesn't have to be anything. Just take the frequency of it. And maybe the action that you're taking, sit down and go, okay, this isn't quite working the way that I want. What's one little tweak that I can try tomorrow in a different way?
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes that's all it is. It's just that little tweak or different perception of the vision that needs to change just a tad. And but again, for each person, it's gonna be different. Uh, sorry. Caroline has had her hand raised for a long time.
She has.
So Caroline, you want to unmute if you're there? We lost a few people who had their hand raised. It's like, oops, but it's okay. If they want it, go
Can you
ahead. Hi.
can you come back to me in 2 minutes?
Yeah, yeah, we can. All right. So in the meantime, there was another question in the chat from Lily, and she said, "What about if you're going through the dark night of the soul and you can't what? I'm not sure. As much as you try."
I guess that would be what my question is. What is can't? Because again, words like don't or can't are beliefs. So I would look at what that can't is, and then look at whatever that that programming is about what is surrounded around the word can't. Because I'm going to guess that, and I may be talking out of turn, but all of us have probably been through at least 1, 2, or like 20 dark nights of the soul.
Yeah.
And like, usually when we are saying I can't, we aren't looking at the lesson that we're supposed to be embracing that then helps us move through that dark night of the soul. So we will keep running into that can't. We will keep running into that belief that says, oh, this is miserable, I'm really stuck. And I'm not saying that the dark night of the soul isn't miserable, because it is. But you know what's happening? It is literally our soul finally coming out in the open and revealing in that moment all of these things that you need to look at. So a lot of times a can't and a don't is a belief or something that we don't want to look at. And we have to look at it. Like, research shows that even if we try to throw it away, we try to repress it away. We see this in PTS victims all the time, people that have experienced severe PTSD. They tried to repress it and forget it. 10 years later, guess what comes back to the surface? Harder, faster, stronger, more painful. So I would really, if I could give you any recommendation, look at the word can't and what's surrounding it. And really start working backwards and being like, okay, so is this really a can't? Or is this something else? Because I promise you, it is most likely a belief. Because the truth of the matter is we truly are magical beings that can create anything that we want. We have this belief that we can't.
Yeah, we've been spoon-fed this belief that we can't all of our lives. But the truth is, if we I mean, I've been through so many dark night of the soul, so I get it. And sometimes it just takes a little bit of time, but eventually, you get through it, right? But
Mhm.
sometimes during that time when you're going through the dark night of the soul, give yourself compassion. And like, oh
Yes.
my God, be gentle with yourself, give yourself compassion and understanding that, yes, I'm going through a difficult time right now, and then tell yourself, but I'm going to get through it. I'm getting through it. I'm getting through it to the other side. And there's so much wisdom here. There's so many pearls here. There's so much light here. There's so much wisdom here that I'm going to, if I can't see it right now, I know I'm going to get it, because that's why you're going through it, is to get those lessons. I don't like the word lessons, but to get that wisdom, right? And the awarenesses that are going to help you to to continue to move forward on your path. We're always moving. We're always moving forward. That's why I'm saying continue to move forward on your
Mhm.
path. And just ask for more ease as you're going through the darkness of the soul. Ask for more ease, right?
Mhm.
And it's not easy. I'll be honest, it's not easy, but you can do it. You can get through it. And when you do, you're going to see all the light that was there within you that is just wanting to shine, that is shining, actually. The only thing that makes it look like a dark night of the soul is your belief system that I'm going through a dark night of the soul.
Mhm.
Whereas you can reframe it to say, I'm going through this major great awakening of my soul.
Mhm.
That sounds so much better, right? Instead of dark night, it's like this great awakening of my soul.
So I have a friend right now who's going, I mean, she's going through it of the dark night of the soul. And she we talk often just because she's just needing support. And when she first talked to me and she was telling me all of this stuff, I told her, I'm like, congratulations, you're going through the dark night of the soul. And she was like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, everything that is no longer you is being stripped away. And I said, because it is not meant for you. If you still hold on to it, I'm going to tell you, I don't want to say you will not move forward, but it's going to take a lot longer. And your soul is going, I'm getting rid of all of this. So after I kind of explained that to her, she calls one of our other friends. And so she's kind of telling her other friend about it. And my friend goes, oh my gosh, it's amazing. You're going through the dark night of the soul. And it finally, that's when it hit her that it's actually a rebirthing of who you really came here to be. You are stripping the old identity to step into the new identity of something so magnificent, so beautiful. And guess what? Your soul is going to strip the next identity, and it's going to strip the next identity. And it will happen. We don't just have one, we do have many. But when you're able to reframe and have a new perspective about it, those next dark night of the souls do not feel like, so torturous. Is the
Sure,
only way I can describe
sure.
it.
If you say so.
Right? I mean, it really isn't. It's just like when we're going through healing, the first layer of the
Yeah.
onion is so rough. But once you really start taking accountability and changing the can't to cans, the layers do start. I mean, the healing comes in a little bit harder. I mean, it really is, because you're getting deeper to that, like the center of that onion, but it does get easier. It really does start to get easier because you're shifting those beliefs. You're shifting that energy quicker than when you
Yes.
first start out.
We'll go with that.
Yeah.
All right, Caroline, you're there.
I
Yep, there
am
you go.
so much. Wow, what a blast of light this energy is. It's beautiful. What a call. Amazing. Love you, Kelly.
Oh, I love you. Are you headed? I mean, I know it's personal. I'm like, you look like you're headed somewhere fun. I hope it's somewhere fun.
I don't know, just a few oranges for my juicing.
Oh, see?
But I am headed somewhere fun. You did pick up on that, not right this second, but I already put it into fruition. We're going to Italy next week. So
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
going to Sicily for almost 3 weeks. So it's going to be amazing. Yeah, I already wrote.
Nice.
Yes, that's
I love it.
amazing.
But I do want to play with the car thing.
Mhm.
Um, before the car thing, I just want to say I had a session with Kelly, and I bought one for my daughter as well because she's so amazing. It was so beautiful. So
Oh,
I highly, highly recommend. As you can tell, she's brilliant, and so yes, absolutely, yeah.
thank you for saying
Yeah.
that. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So the car thing, right? I'm
Mhm.
like you. I see the car that I want everywhere, and they park beside me, and I see them, and all of that. So, my beautiful, what about the money for it?
So I think that I'm going to tell you, I am like personal experience, right? So, I'll go back to like the car experience. Okay. So there, like, I think we need to look at it as not so much as like, I need the money for it. We ask the
Mhm.
universe, how can we make this happen? That's all we need to ask. Not, I need this certain amount of money, because I can tell you, it really connects with this story. I love that you asked about it. So here I am going, I really do need a new car. The car that I was driving, um, I mean, like like the car that I was driving, I had a near death experience in it. So it was just not like, the energy of it was just like no longer exciting. And I got into a really bad car accident, and I only had this car for 2 months. Not, I
Mm.
don't think it was 2 months. And I walked away. I literally, when all was said and done, um, and I mean, that's a whole nother story for another time. I've had 4 near death experiences, by the way, people. And every time I walked out of it. That's the only way I could describe it. Or I don't want to say survived it, because I feel like I walked out of it. I was supposed to. I'm going to tell you, stronger, wiser, and more aware. So anyway, so that was the experience that I had with this old car. And because it had gotten to an accident and I had just bought it, the only thing that they could do was try to put it back together.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
my worry at the time was money. How am I going to buy this new car? Like, this car is like, I think it was like 35 grand. I'm just going to be honest. And I'm like, I really need a new car. This car that, after they, they kind of like puzzle pieced it back together, is not running the way that it should. And every time I get in it, I'm reminded of like almost dying, right? So anyways, and I'm going to tell you, this is the power of choosing the right thing. I kept saying, oh my gosh, universe, I just need the money for it, right? Just bring me the money, bring me the money, bring me the money, right? Well, guess what? It did bring me the money. After I stopped saying bring me the money, I changed what I said, and I said, please show me the next path of how to make this happen. That's all that I asked. So anyway, so I go to take this car in, drop it off at the Honda dealer to get it fixed, because of course it's costing me more money to get it fixed. And me and my son, we walk down to this dealership. We walk down to the Mazda dealership of the car that I've been wanting. And oddly enough, I get the brand new kid first day working there. And he comes out and we're having a conversation. We're test driving all these cars like you wouldn't believe. And I come back and he's all, well, what do you think? And I said, I love it. But of course, where does my mind go? Well, I can't afford it. So I switched that. I immediately switched that belief. And I said, what can you do for me? Like, how can we make this happen? So I switched that pattern belief of I can't afford anything to what are the opportunities. So we go to sit down and he's like, well, we're going to need to look at your car to see how much money we can give to you. And of course, immediately I'm like, crap, right? But I'm like, you know what? No, let him look at it. So so they're done at the Honda dealer. I run to the Honda dealer. I bring it back to him. And we sit down, and you know what he tells me? He goes, well, I was sitting down and I was looking at all of these deals that we can do for you. And now that we looked at your car, they tell me we will pay, like, they paid off my car and then some, which
Mhm.
really, I'm going to tell you, really surprised me, honestly, but I'm all, mum's the word. And I'm all, great. By the time I walked out of there, and all I asked was, how, like, what can you do for me? How can we create this? I walked out of there with a price that worked for me, that was actually cheaper than what I was paying for my Honda. I got like a full warranty on it. And like, me and my son, we sat in it, and he looks at me and he's all, Mom, this is like the nicest car we've ever owned. But the reason that I tell that story is if we get so hung up on not having the money, guess what we're going to have? We're not going to have the money to buy it. If we shift our perspective to how, like, how can the universe bring this to me? Like, show me the next path. We're asking for any and all infinite possibilities to come to us. And it,
I,
and
I've been doing that, and what what I went by when I said, okay, so like, if you're not going to send me the money, how do I make the money for it? And it showed me how I would make the money for it. And I drove by a call center saying needing bilingual call center, blah, blah, blah. And I went, I worked at a call center for over 30 years. I don't want to work at a call center.
well, I'm gonna back you up, because what did you say? How can I make the money? I'm gonna
Yes, I know. So
Yeah,
it shows.
stop. Yeah. Well, and it's saying, well, now you can work at a call center. Guess what? You're like, I don't want to do that. That's not what I want. So again, it showed you what you didn't want. So let's not, I'm going to tell you, when we get so hyper focused, like, I need money, I need money, I need money. Like, even in your verbiage, what you said, how can I make the money? We're
Yes.
still focusing on the same thing. We're just asking it in a different way. What are the opportunities that you can show me where I can, like, where I can get it? You never know. You might have somebody who's like, you know what, here's this car. My kid just bought it. I paid it off for him. And I know this is like, in our minds, we think this might be way out there, but I'm telling you, this actually happened to another one of my friends who needed a car for her son.
I agree, because I've had
Yeah.
other things happen to me that like are just unfathomable. So
Right?
absolutely.
It's all mind blown, right?
Yeah.
And she started talking to this guy, and he's all, you know what? I just don't want it. I just don't want it at all. He sold it to her for $500. It was a brand new car.
Wow. There you go.
And that was
You.
the thing. Yeah, that was the thing she was stressing out about. She's like, I'm a single mom. My kid really does need a car, because now we're getting to the point of where, like, he's going places. I cannot be his constant taxi, which I totally
So
relate to.
that's with everything that we want or don't want. It's with everything. So I completely agree. And as I said, brilliant call. You're amazing. Thank you so much. I love you.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. You have no idea. Thank you so much for saying that.
Love you, Lara.
Awesome. Thank
Or
you.
Shafal.
Thank you, Caroline. Thank you.
Yeah, and enjoy your trip to Italy. I hope you think about all of us while you're on there, out there.
Yeah, exactly. I love Italy. So have fun. Have lots of, it's going to be hot, just so you know, but have fun.
I'm ready
Have
for
a
the
great,
hot.
yeah, it's going to be hot, but have a great time. I'm jealous. I was like, oh, it's okay. It's all good. Enjoy.
Yes, I
Just send
will.
me some of that. Send me some of that Italian energy from
I
Italy. Oh,
I will. You know I will.
yes. Yes, you will. That's true. Yeah. Thank you. Good.
Bye.
So, I think it's really important to look at what Kelly was saying about the reframing, right? So reframing, it's not about, God, my throat today. It's like, what's going on? It's not about the money. It's about, okay, universe, show me another way of having this car. Like or a car. Sometimes it might not be this particular car, but a car. Show me another way to make this happen, right? So it's not us doing all the stuff, but we're inviting the universe to come in and support us and assist us and be a partner. My God, my throat is going. So it's so key, because we get so hung up on that one thing. I want this car. I want this house. I want more money. That kind of thing. Instead of recognizing that in that we're not actually inviting the universe to support us and help us. You're gonna have to do the rest of the talking, Kelly, because my throat is just going.
Yeah, well, I agree. Like, we truly are so supported. Like, I'm going to tell you, I spent many years in this job. It wasn't a bad job. The job itself wasn't bad. the environment wasn't the greatest. And all I like, and I'm true thing, because I mean, all I can share are stories that have happened to me, right? And you can relate or resonate with them. But I was stuck in this job where every morning when I woke up, no joke, I would say the F word because I had to go do it. Like, I'm just being honest and raw, right? But I got up and I did it. And I was trying to build my business on the side, one foot in both sides, right? I was coming from an energy that said that I can't, with the hope that my business would take off so I can quit, right? But I was feeding that negative energy into my business because the whole purpose that I originally, not in the beginning, but like this was my mindset, is I'm going to have this business so I can get out of this, like this a hellhole, right?
Yeah.
And that was the energy that I was in for a long time. I was really frustrated because I wasn't getting out of it. And I mean, I was just like, I need to quit my job. Like, I told my friend, I'm like, it's soul sucking. And she's like, if it's soul sucking, like, why are you doing it? And then of course I went through all of the scarcity things. Well, if I leave, I can't pay my bills. I can't do this. So I started going to all of the beliefs that connected to scarcity, right? I can't, I can't, I can't. And then like literally, like I literally started doing my C.L.A.R.I.T.Y method without me knowing that that's what it was called. And I started really working on everything. And I thought, oh my gosh, in no way, shape, or form am I actually integrating the correct actions or the actions that are aligned with my business. And really part of that action is having to do the next thing, which is like trusting. Like, you have to trust in your instincts and your intuition. So no joke, I woke up the next morning totally with this reframe. I could even feel that the frequencies in my body had recalibrated. I was going to follow my intuition. I went into work, scheduled a meeting with my boss that afternoon, and I told her, I said, I'm done. And she, of course, she was like super shocked because I had been with her for like 9-10 years. And she was like, but why? Why? Like, you haven't even given, like, you they're like, what can I do to fix this? And I told her, I said, there's nothing you could do to fix this. This is the energy that I want. This is where I want to be. And I told her all about it. I want to be in my business because I really want to help people. Shifted that because of, as much as I was saying it was coming from a heart space, like I had to really face that part of my ego, right? That was saying, well, I'm afraid to take this chance. But like also too, like I really started originally when I started really putting the energy in it, it was with the intent to get out of something horrible in which I was bringing horrible energy into. So I started to explain to her, like, this is my dream. This is my goal. I want to be 100% like an entrepreneur. Like, I want to, and I just started telling her all of the things that my heart desired. And she was like, okay, if that's what you really want. And in all honesty, she held on to my resignation for like another week, thinking that I would come back and be like, I changed my mind. And every day she asked me, and I was like, absolutely not. No, no. But I'm going to tell you, the moment that I took that action, the frequency recalibrated and changed even more. So now here I am, I quit my job. I'm like, holy crap, like, what am I going to do? Right. But no, I didn't really allow myself to fall into that. I trusted in my instinct, in my intuition, that this is the right move. And I'm going to tell you right now, like, I mean, if you want to meet anybody that trusts the universe, like, I trust the universe that it always has my back. Like, I am being provided for in ways that I never could have ever imagined. And guess what? I still get to live in my house. I'm not worried about where my payment is for like my next bill. Like, I have people sign up when like I may not even be marketing. Like, it's just coming to me. And in fact, I was looking at my bill, like my student loans. I don't know about any of you, but I've got a massive amount of student loans because I thought, oh, I'm going to be this doctor someday, right? So now I'm paying them off. But I'm going to tell you what is so mind blowing is I had gotten in the mail the recalculation of it before quitting my job. And my student loans actually reduced down to something that I can pay without having to go back to them and be like, I quit, like, I don't have a job anymore, right? So that's abundance, that's blessing. And sometimes having something reduced is the same thing as if you got money, because now you don't have to
Mhm.
pay that out. And
Absolutely.
I'm going to tell you, like, I like, as much as I would say, oh, I trust the universe, there was this part of my ego that said, oh, no, we don't. And then now when I like working with my ego, I said, we can do this. And even so, even if there is some sort of struggle, which I don't even want to call it that, maybe it's just I need to go, like, I mean, I know that I have enough experience out in the marketplace that I could get another job if I needed to. That's an if. But I don't even want to believe that, because I enjoy so much working with people and like in this capacity in the way that I can, and really just helping empower people to see how beautiful your soul is, how powerful you really are. And the truth is it doesn't have to be a struggle. You just, it's tweaks here and there that we have to make.
Yeah,
And
I love that.
and you know what? And for the first time in my life, and I like, this is the one thing that I want to bring home with all of this. When you do this, or when you start to learn how to do this, one of the things that people want the most is to be seen, to be heard, and to be recognized. But you cannot be seen, heard, and recognized until you do that for yourself. And the moment that you do that yourself, people will see you, they will recognize you, and they will hear you. But it always starts with you.
That is so powerful. Absolutely. Everything starts with you. I mean,
Mhm.
the whole universe revolves around you, right? So how you are talking to yourself, what you're writing down, what you are feeding, what like the thoughts that you're feeding, like everything. And changing reframing our mindset, reframing our thoughts and feelings and emotions and our experiences. It's all of it is here for us to evolve, expand, grow, learn about ourselves so that we can show up as ourselves, be the be the truth of who we are instead of all the old patterns and beliefs that we had picked up along the way, right? In this lifetime or other lifetimes, doesn't really matter, right? And so this conversation has been so I just loved it, Kelly. I mean, I'm still
Thank
loving it. So we're
you.
not done yet, guys.
Okay.
But I just have to say it's like this was so much fun and so empowering. And I think we gave a lot of wisdom and ahas, and I just loved it. But we did. Kelly does have a special offer. So
Nice.
I wanted to quickly share that as well with everyone. So I'm just going to share my screen. Kelly's going to do most of the talking because, as you can tell, my voice is totally going for some reason today. So Kelly has a new package, new special offer. It's called the Clarity Codes Voice Drop. So we learned a lot about the clarity codes and the clarity method. So Kelly, do you want to share?
So I feel like this is a sneak preview, because for all of you, I'm all about community and working together. I feel like when there is a bunch of us, that's one of the reasons why I love to do these lives, because getting everybody on the call, when there is a community of us, the energy and the frequency and the vibration, in my opinion, skyrockets. So just to kind of give you a little bit backstory, because it has not quite yet been created, it's in the process, but I'm in the process of building a community called the Clarity Codes Collective. And it really is going to be a community. It will be like a membership, but I want it to flow like it's an online community. We get to talk with each other. You get to share stuff with each other. If you are intuitive doing readings, if you're a healer, I want that to be offered in this community so that we all start working together. I want it to become like like the Clarity Codes tribe, I guess. But also in that, like I when I sat down and I really was thinking about what are the things that I want to do, I love to empower, I love to lead. I want people to understand that when you step into your own authentic leadership, life can be peaceful, it can be calm, like you can create whatever it is that you want. So my goal is to do live group calls where we can, where I might share, like I'm going to share stuff about the clarity codes, give you a piece to take away, to put into action, to try. But I also want to be able to, give it keeps coming in as intuitive direction. because sometimes that's all we need. We just need a little bit of direction. So anyways, I'm in the process of creating this community. So as kind of like a what's the word? I just lost the word that I wanted. Kind of like a teaser or a sneak peek about it, is that I wanted to offer this voice drop. And so what it is that it, like, you go in, you get it, you will get a link, and it's going to bring you a link to like a form that you're going to fill out. You fill out the form. It's very simple. It's just basically ask, like, what do you want clarity or direction on? And it's going to give me your email, and there's a couple other questions. Well, when you send that to me, and the moment that you hit submit, you're also going to get a free ebook that comes along with it about the clarity codes itself. So you will get that as kind of like the bonus gift that comes. So once you submit that form, what I'm going to do, because I love to make videos, I'm going to make you about depending on what the information that comes in, anywhere from 15 to 30-minute video about what you're asking about. And then I'm going to email it to you. And one of the reasons that I want to do this is because I know that sometimes it really is hard to do like a one-to-one kind of meeting. And sometimes, again, we just have direction. So you will still get the energy of me on the video, but I'll do a video. I'm going to send it to you. I do ask that you wait 3 to 5 days because I do kind of have a lot of stuff going on. So, but more than likely you'll get it sooner than that. But like the truth of the matter is we don't always need a full session. I don't know about you. Sometimes I'm like, I just need direction. Like, who can I ask? Right. So that's what it's all about. You will get a voice drop or an audio drop of what you're asking. But I mean, it's just as simple. Just fill out the form and, check your inbox, and it will show up there. Yeah. And then you get the bonus book. It's a journal. It's to help stimulate everything that we talked about today. So
it's not just direction or clarity on question, but you're also going to be reading their energy and patterns, and that is going to inform what that next aligned move is going to be, right? The next aligned steps is going to be.
Yes, absolutely. I am going to literally do the C.L.A.R.I.T.Y method. And for those of you, if like Caroline has worked with me, usually even if we do a session, I always leave you, I call it with tools in your toolbox, but they're really action steps to get you to where you need to go. Because I can, like, in my opinion, I love direction. And then I'm like, okay, can you help? Like, can you at least guide me with some of the next steps to do? And then it makes it easier. And I don't have to be like, well, what's the next thing I need to do? So that's just part of my natural thing. A lot of, like I said, every time I work with somebody, I'm like, so you can go in, you can do this. These are the next steps. If that's the direction you want to go in, you will get those next steps. And I'm going to, like, I just naturally do the C.L.A.R.I.T.Y method. So I will fill into your energy. I'm going to look into your timelines. I am going to talk about like possibly the pattern or the block that's standing in the way. Here are the some action steps that you can do in the now to move forward. And then I'm, just a reminder, you are exactly where you need to be. You don't need to be anywhere else, because if you weren't in this exact moment, you would not have the opportunity to have the experience or the growth that you're supposed to have. So yes,
Yep.
it will be fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. And of course, if you are an Inner Circle member, please use your gift code. And there is a payment plan available as well for this. And like Kelly said, she will have the video to you in 3 to 5 days. But before that, you'll receive the ebook. Is it a journal or is it an ebook?
It's a little bit of both. So I think I called it the C.L.A.R.I.T.Y activation journal, but it's a little bit of both. So it's going to talk a little bit about the C.L.A.R.I.T.Y codes, give you a little bit of direction, and then it's going to be questions and stuff that you can journal about. I love to journal, I'm telling you. And that's probably just part of my psychology background. When you put it in writing, it does start to manifest, it starts to create. So there will be like journal prompts and things like that in it. And literally you should get it as soon as you hit, like you'll hit submit on that form, and then the link will pop up for the book, and you can save it. You can do, whatever you want with it. I mean, it's up to you, but just know, like, I just want to give it to you because I want the purpose behind the book or the journal is to help you see that you can do this, that it's not just me, that we all have the power to do this. So it's just to help you see that. Um, and I mean, I 100% believe all of you, any of you can do this.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Thank you. And this call has been so empowering, and so the information and the wisdom that you have shared, that we have shared, that we've all talked about and engaged with has been so powerful. And I really think it's something that you all need to go back and watch and listen again, because there is so much great wisdom here. I mean, like when I keep talking about it, it's like, yeah, there's definitely something here for everybody. So you can all use this. You can all start to start using the clarity method for yourself, and start to trust yourself, and start to take those actions to move forward. Because again, it's all about taking responsibility for our life. And sometimes we go through a period where we're like, I just don't want to do anything right now, and that's okay. But recognize that that's what you're doing. So again, that's also still taking responsibility, right? We're not going to victim mode, we're not going into blame, shame, all that stuff. We're like, I'm just taking some time for me. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely, be compassionate for yourself, to yourself, right? For your journey, for your path. Any other last words of wisdom, Kelly? Because I feel like I'm saying the last little bit, and it's like,
no, I mean, I think you're summing up everything that we've been talking about. Like, in all honesty, like, part of the reason that I'm going to tell you, I know this because it's in my human design, it's all over my astrology. Like, but most importantly, I feel this so deeply in my soul. I really want to empower people to see how incredible you are. You have everything within you. Like, we came equipped without needing anything outside of ourselves. We have all of it. And if you need support, if you need something inspiring, like, I'm telling you, I mean, I never saw myself as a cheerleader, but I very much am a cheerleader of people just really stepping into their own leadership. And leadership doesn't mean I'm going to go be the CEO of a company or this and that. Leadership really is taking control of my life, owning who I am, and having no regrets about who I am. No shame, no judgment, just authentically being who we are. Like, I'm going to tell you, what you see here today, I'm crazy like this all the time, because I truly, truly believe that that everyone has this beautiful power inside of them. And I'm making it my life's mission to pull it out as many people as I can, so that you can see it. So
I was having such a wonderful conversation that I forgot to take a picture.
oh.
Wonderful conversation. That's why I just did it now. It's like, oh my God, I forgot. I was having so much fun in this conversation that I totally forgot. Oh gosh, because I've been doing that recently in my stories, and it's
I
like,
love
oh,
it.
I forgot.
But
Because
yeah,
this has been so much fun.
but
Gosh.
I like my, I'm going to tell you, I really talk about my friends a lot, because I love people. Like, I genuinely love people. But even this morning, like, I had a friend call me, and she's just like, I just need some help with this. And my brain immediately goes to, how can I support her so that when we walk away from this conversation, that you feel inspired? And I know that not always all the information that we ever get is like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. But I'm just going to, like, if we can start training our brains to look at it from a broader perspective and know that there is some sort of meaning in that for me, so that I can reach into my own self-empowerment, instead of, like, falling into that victim mode, or like, I don't have this, I can't have this, I think that, I'm telling you, when we start moving into that new world, this is really what it's about. It's about coming together with community and really seeing the power within ourselves. And we are headed there. And I am determined that every person, no matter how big or small, I get to touch their soul, I want to bring them forward. That's what I want to do.
I love
So,
it. And that's how we change timelines as well. This is like what we talked about today is about changing our timeline. So anything and everything is possible. I mean, like, within reason, but it's so possible for all of us to start to change what we're experiencing.
mhm,
And what Kelly shared with the clarity codes and the clarity method, all of that, um, if we start to use those, that process, that method, we can start to see the change. And of course, if you'd like to work with Kelly in this package, please do, because you're going to get so much clarity on a path that you want to take, or a decision, or something that you need information and guidance on. Again, it's not about giving away your power to Kelly. It's about her just empowering you to move forward on your path, right? So
mhm,
she's just going to tap into your energy, your frequency, your timelines, and then share with you what's coming up. So that can be really powerful for all of us who maybe struggling with something, or maybe we're just not feeling as confident as we could about something, and that will get you moving forward, because this is the time when we all need to be showing up for ourselves, yes, and the community and the collective and the planet.
mhm.
So, in the best way you can, whatever feels right to you. There's no right or wrong. It's going to be different for each person, but this is the time, in this energy of the summer solstice coming up. It's really, really strong to tap into these energies and move forward. Right. So thank
Want
you, everybody, for all your questions. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Caroline.
I just want to reiterate, this isn't just a sales call. It's actually real and true. Everything that Kelly says and everything that Lara is saying. And I'm living proof of that. So I just want to reiterate that this is not just, oh, you want to sell packages. No, it's not that at all. It's so real. Everything that's been spoken of on this brilliant, powerful call. So there you go.
Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you, Caroline. And of course, you all know I'm not really much of a salesperson, right? So for me, it is about sharing wisdom, sharing tools, sharing resources, sharing support, and people, teachers who can assist us and support us on moving forward on our path at this time. Because sometimes a lot of times we need some support. We are not meant to do this alone,
Mhm,
right? And so that is why we have so many speakers, on these shows, because we're not meant to do it alone. We're meant to do it in community. We're meant to do it in relationship with other people. I think Kelly said at the very beginning, there's no hierarchy, right? We're all, like Ram Dass said, we're all walking each other home, so we're all supporting each other. Um, so again, everyone, thank you so much for all your questions and comments and feedback in the chat. It's been wonderful. And Kelly, this was such a brilliant conversation. I really, really enjoyed it. I love talking
thank
to
you.
you, as you can tell.
Oh, yes, right back at you. A huge thank you to everybody. This, what we created here was a community, and just some little futuristic foresight. I'm telling you, that's the direction that we are moving in to create. Like, I'm sure all of you have heard about the new world, the new earth. That's where we are headed. It's no longer individual or honestly just the one-on-one. It's the community as a whole. Like, what's the saying? It takes a village to raise a child. Like, that's really
Yeah.
what it is. We are creating our villages, we are creating our tribes. And in the future, we may have, it may feel like we have separate communities and tribes, but it's going to be the common goal. So they will all be weaved together. You just have to find what resonates for you. That's and there's no right or wrong. It's just what is going to help you continue to grow and evolve. Because I'm going to tell you, as I'm going to say way out there in the future, there's a reason why we're going through all of this. And I'm going to tell you, each one of us is going to be needed. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. And again, in this now moment and in every now moment, we are in the perfect place at the perfect time. So
Mhm.
you are where you're meant to be right now. And then it will change based on your choices and actions and frequency and etc. But right now you are exactly where you're supposed to be. And take comfort in that. It's like your soul, your higher self, the universe is always supporting you, always guiding you to what it is that you desire and what you are choosing. So always think positive, always be kind to yourself, always only write positive stuff, because again, we are making contracts with every thought we have, with every word we say, and everything that we write down. It is literally a contract that we're making. So be conscious of that. And again, anything is possible, right? So our timelines can change like this depending on our choices and frequency and desires and so on and so forth. So what are you wanting to create moving forward, right? There's so much possible. There's so much possible. And that's why I just love this conversation. Thank you, Kelly, so much. This was great. Brilliant.
Thank you so much for having me. And again, a huge thank you to everybody on this call. And like, I really truly mean it. My heart, I'm so full of gratitude when I get opportunities like this and to be able to share. So I'm like, my heart is so full today. I'm going to walk away from this call going, yes, I got to be in one of the best communities ever today. So thank you so much, Shefali. I have so much gratitude for the opportunity that you give me to be able to share. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, soul sister. This was that's how I feel when I talk to you. It's like we're definitely soul sisters. We're on the same page. It's like same mindset, everything. It's like I love it. So thank you. So everyone, the recordings will be out in a little while, so stay tuned for those. Have a great weekend, and then we'll be back next week, I think on Monday. So we'll see you on Monday, same time, same place. Right. So thank you so much, everyone. Until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all so much love and blessings. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone. So much love to all of you. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Bye for now.